Hello, golf fans. This is Tenacious Earl with the next tournament in the 2018-2019 Tenacious Golf Tour. We left off just finishing up the Tournament of Champions in Hawaii. That was a couple of months ago in real life terms. We've been busy with some other things, and so felt like it was time to get History Maker Golf back out and to keep this tour going, try to get it back out here on the table and to play a tournament. So I'm going to simulate the first 3 rounds of the tournament. Your defending champion is Enrique Magallanes. We have a number of players who had to take the week off, about 24. So we had to have a qualifier for this to get 4 extra golfers from the Slacker Tour roster in. That's been done. Everything's ready to go as far as that is concerned. So this is from Pacific Pines South Course, which, if you're familiar with, you see most if not all of the History Maker Golf courses are based off of real life courses, and this one is based off of Torrey Pines, which is a course that has hosted U.S. Opens and does host an annual tournament on the PGA Tour. And so that's where we're going to have this. This is called the San Diego Open. It's in La Jolla, I think just north of San Diego, if I'm not mistaken. And it is a public course, which makes it interesting. You can go play it. A lot of the courses on the PGA Tour are private courses, but in this case, Torrey Pines, you could go play. Now, this is a facsimile of it, based on stats and whatnot, and somewhat also based on the actual course design elements, but for the most part, it is just a facsimile, so take it with a grain of salt. But so we're going to do the first 3 rounds here in this video. It doesn't really use the course much at all in terms of its how it plays. Instead, this is kind of like it's a mechanism using dice rolls to determine whether golfers make the cut, and then how they get seeded out in with their, kind of get how their scores going into the final round have gone as far as the first 3 rounds. Obviously, it's a lot of simulation here, but it's the way that you can turn a tournament that would take a long, long time to play into something you can do in maybe 5 hours of total play once you get going. Probably takes an hour to do your first 3 rounds, and then it takes another 3-ish hours to play out the final round, where you pick the 12. You have the 12 golfers that have kind of like emerged as the best players out of those first 3 rounds, and then you play out 18 holes with all 12, just like you would on a television broadcast. You would see that on a Sunday. And then we see who wins. And there is even a chance for, someone who has kind of is making a charge on the final day to have that come out. So we'll see if that happens here. Pacific Pines is a little bit tougher of a course, so you expect scoring to be kind of like middle of the road, if not maybe slightly tough. So we'll see how that works out. But let's get going here. With the first 3 rounds, we'll start with who makes the cut, and then we will seed out the pairings going into the final round. So let's get right to that. Okay, so this is our pile of golfers, and we do want to do some shuffling. I already did some. I like to try and get them as mixed up as we can. So as you can see at the top of the screen here, we have 4 different designations here for the first 2 rounds, what I call the cut rounds, and those are most of the golfers will go into these 2 designations here. Either they make the cut or they miss the cut. Now, certain roles will give us some outstanding golfers. Certain role, actually, only one role will end up leading to anybody who is injured, which it could be just for a week or two. It could be till further notice, which has a little different mechanism for operation. So it doesn't happen every time, but it also is nice to add some flavor. We have two guys right now that are injured. John Mulkers and Ryan Broadus both are out until further notice with injuries. So, so in a spreadsheet I have come up with some random number draws to help with determining players that have the week off to try and simulate the way that things work on the real tour. It's not perfect, but it does okay. So what we first need to do is we need to take, and so there were 24 guys, including Ryan Broadus, who's already injured. So really 23 extra guys who, out of the 175, who were slated to be off. So I've already moved them from the deck, and as I have said before, I did a qualifier to bring in 4 more to bring this up to our field of 156 that you can see there in the left, on the bottom left of that upper designation. This is the sheet that I use to kind of track my tournament info. And so the way that it works in real life is that you have two. Everybody plays 2 rounds, and this isn't exact, but we cut it in half to make it a little easier. But it's also because each round has a morning and afternoon pairings, and usually they flip-flop on the second day, but just for the sake of keeping it simple, we just assume it's all like that. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this, we need to divide this into 8 piles. And if a lot of you may be familiar with this already. I've done this a number of times. This is season 2. It doesn't have to be, they don't have to be equal piles, but we try to do it the best we can. Yeah. This guy seems a little heavy, so I'm going to just try and eyeball him a little bit here. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so there's 8 piles, and now what we use is we use this chart right here for, there's making the cut, and then there's the third round, so we will start with making the cut. I'm not going to put it on the screen too much because it's proprietary info, and I don't like giving out a lot of, you go buy the game if you like the game. It's a cool game, and this just kind of gives you a flair for it. So, but each of the, so you roll 2 d6s, you count them from lowest to highest. It's not based on the color of the die. It's which. So if you get a 6 and a 1, it's a 16. Doesn't matter which order. And then you'll have anywhere from 1 to 6 golfers be selected by a couple of different. And I don't like that this one seems a little light. I'm going to move a couple more. So this guy seems a little heavy. Let's put this here. One more right down here. And what was my point? So it'll either be based on their tournament rating, either the best players, or random players, or a mixture of both. And so let's just go ahead and play it out here. Just trying to describe what we do. So 34. That's how we read it. And so it's going to be, we're going to draw 1 outstanding golfer, and then the top 3 that will be remaining. So we'll take pile 1. And the way that I do the draw is I fan them out like this, and then I roll a 20-sided die to choose a random golfer, because the trouble I have, I feel like, is the different sized cards, because I have some that are custom made by me. it can make it a little tough to choose it fairly in my book. I don't know. All right, so we've got 5, 10, 11. So we're going to roll the d20, and if it's above 11, we're going to have to re-roll. And then there's 20. Okay, so there's 5. So it's going to be this guy is going to make the cut, and actually he's going to be outstanding, Joel Barrera. So you can see here, he has kind of a low rating as far as 5B is. He's not going to be very high in the final standings most likely, but he gets a draw outstanding right there. And now we take the 3 remaining golfers who have the top tournament rating. So we've got Todd Mann, who's a 4B. Got Connor Messick, who's a 3B. Got Hector Morris, who's a 5C. So now what I do is I keep flipping, and any that beat out 5C will knock. So he'll knock Morris out. So now Rubio is the lowest. There's 4A. So Kelton Rubio will get knocked out by Hudson Parsons. We got Lefty Meadows, who's going to tie with Mann. If we get one more that's above this, we're going to knock both of them out. And there it is, Wyatt Sells. So Lefty Meadows and Todd Mann are both knocked out. And now we've got to get above 4A for another. So there's Barrett Rowland. He does not make the cut. Damari Arias, 4C. So it's not, the lower the number, the better. And then the lower the letter, the better in each of those sub-designations. So can 4A be beaten here? Nope. It's Waki Inoue. He's a 5A. These guys will all miss the cut. Put them right in there, and then these 3 will make the cut along with Joel Barrera. And now I take my sheet here, and I put a 4 in the AM, the first AM slot, and I try to keep track of all of the numbers because I want to get between 70 and 80 cut golfers that make the cut. That's the goal. So here's pile number 2. And that's 22. So that's the top 2 golfers only. So we're only going to take 2 out of this unless we get a tie. So Patrick Kieran, 3C. Soren Overgaard, he's one of the guys that qualified in. So, but he's going to get knocked out by Alec Newcomb. CJ Hope will knock out Patrick Kieran. So now we got to get over 3B. Terry Berry is a no. Felipe Irwin, he's a 5B. He's a no. Here's another. That's 4A. Nope. 4B. Nope. Abdiel Yusuf. And now 4A for Bob Kleckner. These guys all miss the cut. And just Alec Newcomb and CJ Hope make it. That's 2 for this pile. Now the next pile, 35, means it's going to be draw 2, and then top 3 after that. So here's where I ended up with a bunch of custom cards in here, so it's that's where a little bit of the difference in sizes can be a problem. But anyway, we've got 9, so anything 18, anything a 19 or 20 we have to re-roll, but it's a 7, so this right here is 7. Tyler Ochoa, he'll make the cut. I'm going to put him right here. And now the second draw is 14, so we start from here. So now we have what, 8? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let me see. Let me make sure. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Rudy Wallace. So those 2 guys make the cut. And now the top 3 that are left. So Kenneth Clayton, Samson Peterson, Chip Connors. So far, the 5As probably are not going to make it. There's a 4A for Wayne Harper. Another 5A, but anything below 5A or better than 5A. So there's a 3C for Foshi. So all of the 5As get knocked out. And these are the 3 that are left, except for this card here. And it's a 4A for Christian Canepa. Samson Peterson is dispatched. And so we've got 5 out of this pile that go in and make the cut. Okay, so our 4th pile of the morning rounds. 24. That's going to be draw 2. Okay, we got 10 on the money right now. So we draw 2 and then take the top 2 after that. So we got 10, so we can take any number off of this. It's a 19, so it's going to be the 9th card right down here. Shane Sterling. And we do have a couple 1As. We have some 1Bs, and we have a few 1Cs, and we got a bunch of 2s as well. So we haven't seen any of them yet. And there's 20. Now with 9, we can't take 20. There's 12, so here's 9. So 9. 10, 11, 12. Sincere Grant. So there's 2. Then we take the top 2 after that. Tagaki Yamasaki, Samson Tucker. So anything under 4A is going to knock out Yamasaki. Now there's 3B. So Ian Robards knocks out Yamasaki. And there's Martin Van Dyke, a 1A. So now you need another under 3B to knock out. There's Nate Killow. He misses the cut. Another 3B. Another 3B. And a 2B. So all these 3Bs get knocked out by the 2B Sonny Lemons. And so those guys will all miss the cut. Only 2 that make it out of the top golfers are Van Dyke and Lemons. And so there are 4 out of that pile that make it. Okay, next pile. 15. We draw 4 and choose the top after that. So 9 in this pile. You're going to draw 4. So the first one, Maurice Mondragon. 3 more left. That's a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fabio Antonucci. 2 more to roll, and then we got 7. 17, so 14 is okay, but there's 15. That won't work. 7. So we start from here. So that's going to be this guy. Jae Gun-woo, and now 1 more with 6, and this will be number 1. 6, so with 6, 18 is fine, so 17 is this guy. So Isaiah Rogers. So there are the 4, and then we take the top golfer after that. Joey Menini. So Justin Wallace beats out the 4B with the 2B. Another 4B, Newt Washburn. We got a 3B, Augie Kammerman. 4A, Angus Ingram. So Justin Wallace makes the cut. The rest miss. And there's 5 that go on the pile here. Okay, pile 6. There's 46. Draw 1 and then the top 4 after that. A little bit light in this one. So we draw 1, there's 8. 13, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. David Alvestad. Now after that, the top 4. So let's just throw over the top, the first 4 off the pile here. And then we'll arrange them. Burke Yielding, Dustin Jimenez, Tatsuo Shano and Brendan Singleton. Burke Yielding is assured of making the cut. What about the rest of these guys? There's a 5B, so that helps Singleton. Kerry Finley misses. Bob Demelmeyer will knock out Singleton, though, and now it's going to be Shano on the bubble right now. Will he make it in? And it's Myung Cho with a 2C, so Shano just misses out. And so we've got 5 going in from this pile. 2 more for the morning rounds. So the injury roll is 11. And you would choose the top golfer, but then you would draw an injured golfer. There's 24, so draw 2, top 2. We've had that roll before. And we've got 10 here this time. So draw 2. And we're going to go with the 10th guy. It's Marshall Weber. So down with 9. So 10 is going to be right down here. Chris Funk. Okay. Top 2 after that. So let's flip these 2 guys. Mateo Soto and Tyler Gentry. So 4B needs to be beaten, and he is. Nick Yarlett. So now it's got to be better than 3C. Chase Stevenson is a 4C, so no. Gooch Wilborg will knock out Yarlett. Now we've got a tie at 3B. It's going to need 2 golfers underneath 3B to knock them out. And there's another one. So this is going to be a loaded stack. Oh, there's 2A. So we're going to end up with 5 plus the 2. This is 7. In the cut round, you use ties. All ties are taken. So that's a pretty heavy batch of the stack. Only 3 guys go missing from that pile. All right. Last one for the morning. We want to be between 35 and 40. That would be ideal out of the morning. And there is your injury roll. And where is the box? It's right here. So now, this is where we draw an injured golfer. And it looks like there's a lot of custom cards in here, so this pile is a little heavy too, so 6, 10, 13. 16 won't work. 20 won't work. 18 won't work. 10 will work, so it'll be this guy here. Dylan Reed is injured, and now we just have to figure out what his and I can show you this one because it is available from the Play website. It's a custom design. So you can see a lot of them are out until further notice. And then Dylan Reed will be. He's going to be out with a hip injury. So, injuries. Got to write it down here. Till further notice, and now we just need to decide which is the top golfer, and they will remain. So we've got Reese Gillespie, Luciano Ware, no for Alec Nolan, Harley Villanueva, no, Dominic Jensen, no. So all these guys, we can kind of get them out of the way. So 3C is going to knock out Gillespie. That's Ozzie Valenti. Now let's see if any of these custom cards have a better. Nick Nackland is a no. Kason Wong, no. Josiah Jacobs, no. Okay, so now we've got... There's Jason Huffman. He is one. But now we've got 2 of the Play cards. That's where your lower rankings can be. Celestino Garcia knocks out Huffman. And then finally, Lanny Saxerholt is a 3C. He won't make it. So, we'll put these guys all on the Miss the Cut. one guy makes the cut out of this. It's Celestino Garcia. And so I'm going to go ahead and put my sheet up here to say we've got, so 6 and 4 is 10, 15, 20, 25, 33, 34, I think. Let me double check this. 6, 10, 20, 32, 33. So we're a little light out of that. Probably will make it up in the... Of course, we did have an 11, which is pretty uncommon. And so, I'll be right back. Actually, no, I'll just hang on here. I'm going to do the splits in front of you. I tend to like to do it this way because it's a little easier to get them close to each other. Okay. So, the afternoon rounds now. We're going to rattle them off here. And .22, that's the top 2 golfers only. All right, so let's go ahead. Carter Jacobs, a 5C. He isn't going to make it. There's Dustin Emmerich, he's the other 1A with Martin Van Dyke. Yun Lee Song, so Carter Jacobs is gone. Adam Trenchard, no. Dalton Solomon, a 5A, no. There's a 3C for Del Hutton. Cade Lyons, no. Delmo Mazzanti, no. So only Yun Lee Song and Dustin Emmerich from that pile make. There's 12. Another light. We draw 1 and top 1. Okay, so 7 and 2, so it's going to be Duke Vernon. Oh, draw 1 and the top remaining. So Heath Sommers, tour champion from last year. Hudspeth doesn't make it. Enrique Magallanes. Gil Granbury knocks out Heath Sommers. 1B beats 1C. And Marus Hirano. So that's an unkind pile. 2 guys make it. And we want some higher numbers now on the way out here as far as the rolls go. 23, that's not a high number. Draw 1 and top 2. So there is 11. $10. So that'll be Kaisen Roca who makes it. Top 2 after that. So there's Patel and Henneman. No, so McMillan will. 3A Dave Simanowicz Jr. knocks out Patel. Trent McAdams knocks out McMillan. No Heath. No Jarvis. No Marlowe. No Moberly. And Greer Copeland. There'll be 3 plus Roca. So 4 out of that pile. Okay, so we got 5 more left here. Let's keep on going. And 35 is going to mean that we have to draw 2 and then take the top 3 of what's remaining. One moment as I plug in my phone here to get it charging. It's a little low. So I'm going to do the draw here. So we're just trying to get these fanned out here as best I can. Okay, so we have here, we have 11. 14 won't get the job done. Another 14. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 35, so we draw 2. Peter Ladas. Now we're at 10 and 13, so there's 3 here. Yi Chen. And now the top 3 remaining. So let's go with these 3 here. Tom Sudbury, Zephaniah Scott, and Steve Runyon. I'm going to guess Runyon and Scott are not going to make it, but let's just see. There's Zeithofer. So there's a tie for 3rd at the moment, but that's going to be broken by Jimmy Kimes. So Runyon and Scott are not going to be in it. 3C knocks out Zeithofer, who is one of the qualifiers. So now we've got 4A for Alan Kelly. That's a no. 3A for Sykes is going to knock Coe out. Now it's just a matter of whether Sudbury stays. He doesn't. That's Joshua New. So those are the top 3 that are left. And we take 5 in from the 4th pile. So 4 more piles left to go in the cut rounds. There's 45. So that's going to be draw 1, top 4. And we have 10, so it's perfect number for rolling the D20. And so we got 15, so we this guy here. Braden LaSalle Jr. And now it'll be the top 4 remaining. So let's go ahead and flip the first 4. Abdiel Nichols. Carson Riddell is probably going to make it through. Danny Gallatin, he's probably bubble. Todd Aarons. So Nichols will probably get superseded, and he does right there. Boyd Yeager. But now we got a bunch of different ones there. It could be Yeager. It gets booted. Nope. Nishiki Kawahara, who has 1 on our tour. There's a tie for Malcolm Wiles and Boyd Yeager. 5A Jeffrey Hahn. He's not going to make it. So will it be a tie? 1C for Gail Honorado. So it was the 4 remaining. So these 2 guys get booted. And so it'll be Gallatin, the last one in from this pile. And we take another 5 this time. 3 more bunchings left to go here. 55. The top 5 golfers from this pile go in. Aditya Klein, Gage Valentine. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of custom cards from me. So there's another 4C for Romeo Stone. Jeffrey Clark. There's 4B, that's Nolan Molina. So let's see, what do we have here? We have another 5A. What do we have right? This one. This one is another 5A, that's Kenny Service. 4C Craig Angelo. So we need 1 more 4C or below to knock out all those 5As. There's a 4B, so that'll be Bergman. He is in. All these guys are knocked out. So now it's just a matter of whether or not we're going to end up with 6. If there's 1 4B or below, or well, actually 4C or below, we get 6 in. There's 4 seats. Stuart Ash. So we got the top 6 go. And there are 4 that missed the cut out of that group. 2 more piles left. 46, so this is a draw 1, top 4. Anything in the 40s works that way. Okay, so 9. We just draw 1. So 9, 10, 11, 12. It's going to be Toshio Takai. How about that? He's a guy that was in the card deck in my first tour, and then they didn't reproduce him. Play didn't, so I had to make up his card. And so he gets to make the cut here in this one with a 4A. So Benicio Vasquez, Trevor Nolan, Rogelio Ryan, Chico Fonseca. Those are the top 4 at the moment. 4A is the threshold right now. Palmiro Cavallari. So we need one more 4A or one more 3C or less to expel the 4As, and there is a 4C or 3C. Denny Rowetter. And let's see, does Rowetter get kicked? He does. Smokey Novak. And the last one, 2A, Shinji Kanishi knocks Benicio Vasquez off the perch. And so we got a total of 5 making the cut in this group. And now one more pile to go. 23. So that will be draw 1 and then the top 2 remaining. Okay, 9. I'm going to draw 1. 19 will not help us. 13 will. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Leon Bay makes it. So then 2 more after that. So we've got Webster and Webb. Dale George knocks out Webster. Kenji Morita knocks out George. Parker Melton doesn't make it. Darren Sears doesn't make it with 4s. There's a 4A for Ramon Zavala, and there's a 4C Don Slattery. So 3 out of that, and let's I just knocked over my pile. I'll make sure we don't have any crossing of things up here. So we had 3. So that brings us to 24 here. And 8 is 32, which is 65. I actually think that is right at the low mark. Let me just double check here. 4, 8, 18, 29, and 3 is 32. So I do believe that is the low point for your you'd like to have 70 to 80, but I think 65 is suitable for the cut. So we will go ahead and take that. I'm going to put Joel Barrera here as the outstanding golfer. He gets his own pile in the next part, so I'm going to reset things here, and I'll be back with the conclusion and the third round, setting us up for the final round. Okay, so we are back with our typical setup here, where we've got the letter designations. We've got A plus A, A minus, B plus B, B minus through D minus. Everybody from here out, when we do this third round simulation, everybody from here down is going to have their finishing score decided by that. Everything from this point forward, actually I would say everything that's A minus and above will be in contention and will get their final round played out on the channel. In the B plus and B, I would say B plus, there's a chance they could also be in contention, but most likely most of the players that are in B plus and B are going to need some luck in order to be, they're going to have an outstanding first 14 holes of the round in order to be considered in contention. Now we've got Barrera, who is on the outstanding. He's going to come right over here on this edge, and he's going to be in his own pile. He is the 8th pile. Everybody else will be cut into 7 other ones, and we will do another process similar to the last one, but just with some different outcomes. Usually you just get 1 or 2 players that are identified to be in contention from each pile. There's a couple rules where you get none, but pretty much most of them give you something in either A plus, A, or A minus. And then you also get what are called perks and issues, which can pop up as well, which give some of these players some extra, maybe extra quality or takes quality away. So now what we're at is where we can split these into 7. So let's go ahead and accomplish that. So I'm going to take this, try to do this, so that way when we cut them, trying to get it where the leading edge is. Okay. So this is going to be its own. Let's take a little bit of this, and we'll take a good bit of that. Move this one over. Split this one into 2. Split this one into 2. All right. That gives us 8. And I'm going to take a couple off of this one and put them over here. Okay. Good enough. So now we go to the 3rd round chart, which is right here, and we can just do more of these rolls. So first is going to be 25, which is a draw golfer contends with A. So let's get all the cards out here. So we have 6 in this pile here. So, and there's no perk or issue. Oh wait, there is a perk or issue from this. So getting my sheet out here. So we're going to roll the D20. That's 11. So there's 6. So 11 will be the 5th card. So that's Palmero Cavallari. He will be at A, and he will receive either a perk or an issue. And I got to write these down. So and let's see. So 25. Draw golfer contends with A. Top golfer contends with A minus. So let's see who all is the top golfer here. Ditch Klein. Carson Riddell, a minus, or a 2C. Samir Webb, no. 3A. Smokey Novak, no. Trent McAdams is going to knock Riddell out. So Trent McAdams will be at A minus, and then these guys at 25 are going to finish with C. And so we put the cards here, and they will get assigned a score based on their tournament rating. Okay, pile 2. 23, draw golfer contends with A, others contend with B+. So everybody in this group is going to have a potential chance to merge, but we're going to draw to start. There's 7 in this pile, so we draw 1, 15, and so 7 and 14. There's 13, so it's going to be this guy here. Yunli Song, who already has an issue, has a perk, which he's a king. I think he has king added to his, yeah, he is also a king when it comes to his, I believe it's his irons, so he has it till further notice. So everybody else, which is Copeland, Ladas, Chen, Castillo, Garcia, and Sykes will all contend at B+. Okay. .46, draw golfer contends with A minus. Low golfer finishes with D minus. Others finish with D. So what do we have here? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so the draw golfer contends with A minus. 18, it'll be this one here. Bob Demmelmeyer. First time we've seen him, I think, in one of our final pairings. And now the low golfer from here. So let's see, we've got so the 4C is still lowest. Burke Yielding, Young Cho, Marshall Weber. So 4C, he'll go to D. Or no, D minus, and then the rest will be at D. Okay, 5 more piles left to go. 11, top golfer contends with A+. Others will be at B+. So let's just go ahead and see who the top golfer is. So Roca currently, Sonny Lemons knocks him back. Martin Van Dyke, a 1A. Mateo Soto. Gooch Wilborg. John Reisner. Evan Aldrich. Lucas Bergman. Alec Newcomb. CJ Hope. They're all going to contend with B+, but Martin Van Dyke gets a Perker issue and also is going to be have a chance at the lead here. So we'll be right up here. Okay, so we're halfway through this determination. We have 5. I'd like to have 12 probably. 36. Top golfer A-. So it's going to be Dustin Emmerich. He's the only other 1A. He was right on top somehow. So Gil Granbury is going to finish with C- with a 1B, and there's Braden LaSalle Jr. Gallatin, Aarons. So let's see, Vernon is still the 4B. See, Antonucci, Wallace, some really good golfers here. Mauricio Mondragon is a 5A. So he's currently the low. There's Kanishi and Jae-Gun Woo, Marita, Leon Bay. These guys are all going to finish with C-. And Mondragon will be at D- with the other low golfer, Tyler Ochoa. And Emmerich will be at A-, and that was 36, so he does not get a Perker issue. 25, draw golfer contends with A. Top golfer contends with A-. So here's one where we get 2. We got 11 this time, so the draw golfer number 2 will be Josh New. And with 25, he gets a perk. So now the top golfer out of these contends with A-. So Jimmy Kimes, a 3A. Gail Honorado, 1C, is probably going to get it. So we had Angelo, no, and Funk, and Rogers, Grant, Molina, Sells, no, Stone, no, Messick, no. So these guys all finish with C. Honorado, A-. So that gives us now 8 with 2 more piles to go. 16. Draw golfer contends with A-. Top with A. Others with D+. Okay. So we have 6, I believe. Yes, 6. It'll be 6 right on the money. So Chico Fonseca is the draw golfer, and he'll contend with A-. Write it down on my list. Okay, the top golfer is going to be A. So there's Steve Foshee, Shane Sterling, Stuart Ash. Dave Simanowicz will be the high, unless it's this one, and it's Toshio Takai. He's going to finish at D+, along with his other guys, and Simanowicz Jr. will be at A. And the last pile, let's see what happens with our man Joel Barrera. 55, all golfers contend with B. He's going to get messed up. That is unfortunate for him. So he was outstanding through the first two, but then he gets a bad roll and he ends up at B. He will only contend. So, all right, we have 10 golfers here. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll 2 dice. Odd. So we have the black die and the white die. The black die will be the first roll, or the first pile out of B+. The white die will be the second pile. If it's an odd number, we take the top. If it's an even, we take a draw. So we're going to turn this over. We're going to split these up like this. So it's going to be draw out of the first pile and top out of this. We're going to take the top one. We'll just look for the top one right here. So it looks like Sunny Lemons. Let's see. No, 2A. It'll be Evan Aldrich. So he's going to get to play. And then we just do a draw out of the rest of these guys. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we can roll a D6 to get this. It's a 5. Greer Copeland the third. All the other guys in that pile are going to miss out. So they can then, they would be able to contend if they emerge. We'll see how that goes. I think this will be a low-scoring final round. Or no, a high-scoring final round. I don't think Pacific Pines is good for scoring, so we could see a couple of rolls where maybe an emerging contender could come about. So I'm going to reset this board here with the scores, and then we'll divvy up the guys who are in contention into their scores to set up the final round. Okay, so because the target score for this tournament, based on my check roll that I did before I started any of this process, it's set at 278 as the target final score for the winner, which ends up being 10 under par. The way that they give you some guidelines as to where to set up the golfers based on their letter designation. And so we're going to start with Evan Aldrich and Greer Copeland III and figure out whether or not they are. So the dot, if it's a dot, one of these guys will, if it's a dot, the guy will start at -1. If not, he'll start at even for his final round. So Evan Aldrich first starts even. Greer Copeland is going to start at -1. So I've talked about this before. This is what I call a D2. Also, they call it play the decider die, but it's basically it has 3 sides with dot, 3 sides with not, and that's how it works. So now for A-, it's going to be either -3 or -2, and we will start with Trent McAdams, -3. Demmelmeyer, -2. Dustin Emmerich, -3. Honorado, -3. And Fonseca, it went off the screen, but it's -2. So now it will be A, and it'll be Cavallari, either -4 or -5. He's -4. I'm going to have to shift this down a little bit so I can have enough room. Yun Lee Song, also -4. It's going to give Martin Van Dyke a little more breathing room in terms of the lead. Josh New, -4. And now is Simanowicz Jr. going to be -5? He is. So And finally, Martin Van Dyke, he could either be -7 or -6. He's going to be -6, so we can get rid of the -7 for now. And put this guy right up here. There, that gives us more room. Okay, so that's how the leaderboard is going to look going into the final round. Okay, so we have our score sheet set up here, if you can see it. Threesomes for this tournament. And so the last thing that actually there's two more things that need to be done before we blast off here. And then I'll upload the video, and then we'll look to play this round out during the week at some point. So we need to do the tourney perks and issues for the 4 golfers that receive them. It's Cavallari, Van Dyke, New, and Fonseca. So the way I do this is I use the tourney day chart that has the issues and perks. There's 6 categories. So the white die signifies which category it is. The categories are caddy, sponsor, media, clubhouse, trainer, and internal. Then the black die will designate which of the subcategories they get hit with. And then the green die will signify whether or not it gives the number, if there is sometimes it's a number of chips or something like that. And then we will also roll the decider die, because that will for certain ones will give whether it's a till further notice issue or perk, which means it will ride for longer than just the single tournament. So for Cavallari, it'll be trainer. So he's going to start with 3 blue chips. So the third column is start with a certain number of blue chips. So 3 blue chips. And that does not get any, there's no opportunity for any till further notice. And actually I wrote this down wrong on my sheet. There's a place for the number, so it will be 3. Okay, so now again it's 5. This time it's the category 2, which is you gain a choice quality, and that is till further notice. So Martin Van Dyke gets to gain a quality, and so what he's going to do is he's going to convert his semi-rust to semi-gold till further notice. So he'll get, so when we say gain a quality, in terms of putting, you gain a full quality. So in terms of that, the clutch putting, he goes from rust, semi-rust to semi-gold. All right, now Josh New, 5 and then 4. So he'll start with red chips, and it's going to be 6. And that is going to potentially make his day very, very long. And now finally, Chico Fonseca. Look at that, 3 3s. So it's going to be 3. His media 3 is going to start with 3 blue chips as well, just like Cavallari. Okay. And lastly, we're going to check the weather. So the game action book on the back side has a weather chart, and so this is going to be desert. Actually, we're going to say U.S. West. Well, no, we're going to say Western U.S. desert or arid, and this is what, February? Let's look at the schedule. This is January. So in January, 12. Okay, so it's D for dry. All golfers bomber It says all golfers semi-bomber and, I'm assuming that means and bomber, um, use firm green results from the chart. So it's going to be dry conditions. So okay, well, I'm going to have to do a little bit more research in that, but it makes it seem like the big hitters are not going to have as easy a time on the greens. So okay, so that is our leaderboard. It's going to be Martin Van Dyke -6 starting the final round. Then one back is Dave Simanowicz Jr. And then a threesome tied at -4, two back. So check out our final round, which may start on Sunday in the evening. Just have to see how things go. Sunday, this should be released by Saturday evening, so hopefully those of you who are interested in this tour will have a chance to watch this before we get started in the final round. So check back for that, and just keep rolling, everybody. Thanks for checking out this video of the 2018 San Diego Open first 3 rounds, and we'll look to get that final round in soon. Till then, just keep rolling, and we will see you soon.